Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining our Navigate breakout session, Solving the Unsolvable Role Dilemma. My name is Gretchen Wichmann, and I'm a Managing Director and National Service Line Leader at Edgile. I've been in the security and identity space for over 20 years and a SailPoint partner since the company started. Today, I'll be joined by John Thornton. John, would you like to do a quick intro?
Yes, hello, my name is John Thornton. I am a data scientist with Edgile. I've been with Edgile for 5 years and currently working on solving the role-based access control dilemma.
Awesome, thank you. If you guys have been in identity for many years like I have, you will remember years ago when companies tried to do role projects, spent a lot of time and money, but were not successful because there was no way to maintain the roles over time. Edgile has developed an RBAC acceleration suite of tools and services to help expedite role analysis. This, combined with SailPoint's IdentityAI, is foundational for a successful role program, which will help make your identity systems more efficient for access reviews and user access requests. Here's what we'll be covering today. A brief overview of who we are, the growth and complexity around roles, what is a role, our role creation journey, our role factory approach. We'll go through a case study of how this has helped another customer, and lastly, how to get started. At Edgile, we're a strategy-first risk and security advisory services firm offering a full suite of consulting services from strategy to implementation, training, and managed support services. We were established in 2001, and we're having our 20th anniversary this year. We have a highly experienced team averaging more than 10 years experience spread across our 3 integrated practices. First, identity and access management, where our strategic partner is SailPoint, and we've been a top SailPoint Admiral delivery partner for 3 consecutive years. Second, our cloud security, where our strategic partner is Microsoft, and we were named their Security System Integrator of the Year in 2020 and nominated again this year. And lastly, GRC, or Integrated Risk Management, where our strategic partner is ServiceNow. With these 3 practices, we help companies modernize their security and risk programs, including digital transformation and securely managing the move to the cloud. Now I'll turn it over to John to dive right in.
Thank you for that, Gretchen. So when we talk about role-based access control, what we are talking about is dealing with a problem known as the growth and complexity of your identity and access management system. So identity and access management complexity grows at an exponential rate as a company matures. This is driven by increasing headcount, accessing more items, requiring more access to be certified and requested. In order to reduce the amount of certification line items and access requests that need to be fulfilled, we need to group the common entitlements into roles. And a role is simply the logical grouping of one or more pieces of access driven by a job function or an attribute that the identity with the role may possess. In our example here, a senior store clerk has the roles opener and clerk and all the access that those roles grants them. Senior store clerk itself may be a role that was assigned by an HR attribute. By collapsing this access into roles, we can reduce the overall complexity of the identity and access management system by an order of magnitude. Creating roles for any organization is a journey, and it starts with taking stock of what your access requirements are during the role inventory phase. That goes through proving out a pilot role effort in your organization with an initial role-based certification before operationalizing a role factory designed to achieve maximum role coverage for your organization, until the factory isn't needed anymore and it can be retired, with the RBAC team reduced to a maintenance function. Now, your exact numbers may differ depending on your particular governance requirements, but the overall shape of this effort looks the same: a low initial effort as requirements are gathered and pilot roles are created, hitting its peak as the role factory is being optimized, and then tapering off as the processes are streamlined and roles are created as fast as they can be. Going a bit deeper into the role journey, let's take a look at each of these steps. We begin with what's called the role inventory. That's where we take a look at your organization and its access and find the role model that best fits. Here we see 2 possible role models that we've used historically, the one on the left mirroring a client's organizational hierarchy, and the one on the right, a much flatter structure where job title was a better predictor of access requirements than a position in a hierarchy was. Your own role structure may look very different indeed, but we'll find the one that best works for you based on finding the least number of roles that maximizes coverage over the most number of entitlements. And once we've determined the role model, the next thing we need to do is prove out the process for creating and approving roles. This is less about technical analysis and more about navigating the governance requirements of your organization. Before we go into production and start changing access models, we need to find your stakeholders and make sure that they understand and approve of the changes that we're making. Once we have that approval, we take our pilot roles live and prove out our reductions in access requests and certifications. They can take a certification from this to this. Once we've proven we can make it work for a handful of roles, the next thing to do is to make it work at scale. We automate as much of the data product creation as possible so the RBAC team can work on shepherding the role candidates through the review process and creating as many roles as possible without sacrificing quality. As the number of roles in the system increases, eventually the maintenance requirements for the roles themselves will become burdensome. Thankfully, SailPoint has us covered in this department with their Role Insights solution, making keeping your roles up to date easy. And eventually the ROI in role creation will drop below the level of effort needed to create more of them. While the exact number of roles and level of effort required to hit that point vary from organization to organization, all will eventually hit a point where it makes sense to shut the role factory down. But by the time we shutter the role factory, our role development acceleration service will have taken you from disorganized, individualized access to organized access and understandable roles. So a couple of lessons that we've learned and the best practices resulting from them at our clients. So we found that client role models are unique. There is no best role model that fits every organization. So role model candidates need to be programmatically generated, and those role candidates need to be scored for relative value. Again, we're looking for the least number of roles that cover the greatest number of entitlements for the greatest number of identities. Client decisioning data requirements are unique. That means that role creation tools need to be customized at every client. That customization is an ongoing process throughout the lifecycle of the role factory. And finally, client governance requirements are unique. That means that role creation packages need to be tailored to individual clients. And role creation throughput is largely driven by the acceptance of those role creation packages. Here's an example of the role journey for one of our clients. This is a regional commercial bank with roughly 50,000 identities and a significant headcount in customer service. During the role inventory, we determined that a flat job title-based role structure worked best, and we generated 10 pilot roles using that job title-based role structure and brought them into the production environment and configured those roles for automatic assignment and provisioning. Those pilot roles saw a 50% reduction in certification and access requests during our initial role-based certification. And as we stood up our role factory, we accelerated the creation of new roles from roughly 1 role a month to 40 roles per week. Now, this client is currently preparing for an IdentityAI implementation, including updating their IIQ instance. And this will enable them to maintain the large number of roles that they will have by the time the role factory is completed. And we estimate that to be done after they've created 400 or so roles. I will turn it over to Gretchen to talk about how to get started.
Thanks, John. So yeah, we have developed this RBAC acceleration service with really the goal is to come up with your executable role plan. We'll do some analysis, do some role mining, look at the entitlements and role model analysis, and then go through our role validation and implementation process that John shared with you earlier. At the end of it, you're going to get your best fit role model, know the necessary data for inclusion, communicate those objectives, and have an overall plan going forward. So if you're interested in that, we would love to talk with you more about it. You can reach out to John or myself with the following contact information. We hope you all have a great Navigate. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you in person sometime real soon. Thank you.
Thank you.